Emma.
Yes, Madelyn.
What do you call the third upcoming spin-off of our new game that features zombies?
Gosh, I just don't know.
Brains! Welcome to Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I was also thinking of doing some kind of meteorology joke. Would that have been better?
What's the meteorology joke?
Like about rain.
Oh, meteorology. I'm sorry.
What did you think I said?
In my head, it translated to astronomy. I was like, rain? I don't think that has to do anything with astronomy.
I could have done with something like a gluten-free joke and done grains. I could have done a transportation joke and done trains. There's a lot of options.
I'm glad you know how to rhyme.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's a hard-fought skill. Anyway, hello, listeners. I'm Madelyn, your rhyme-gifted host with the most.
And I'm Emma.
That's it. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Emma, can you believe I guess we've already had an episode. Where are we in March? Is this our first March episode? I can't believe it's already.
No, it is not our first March episode.
You're right. Because I was counting as if today was when the episode was released, which is not true.
And even then, it would not have been our first March episode.
I'm losing track of time.
Yeah. Nope.
But even though I'm losing track of time, I still know how to distinguish between an old game and a new game.
There you go.
I have not so lost track of time. This week on the podcast, because this is the podcast, we're going to be talking about that classic Ms. Pac-Man. And perhaps not a classic, but a well-liked new game, Reigns.
Specifically, Reigns, Her Majesty.
Oh, are we specifically talking about... I was going to ask about that.
Well, that's the new one.
Yeah, well, I was confused. I thought it was weird that we had a 2015 game in our hat, but I wasn't going to question it. I was like, maybe it was a new game when we put it in. But Reigns, Her Majesty. Perfect for this week where we have celebrated International Women's Day. We're really on brand this week, Emma.
Super # on brand. 2
#gamer girls talking about # girls in games.
Woo!
That really did work out well. It really seems like we rigged this and planned it, but we did not.
We really did not.
Emma picked from those hats, the same as she does every week.
Yeah.
We just happen to have a both the past is female and the future is female. New game, old game. Thing
just
going
as
on
it should be.
Yeah. I don't know why I said that like I'm like a 14-year-old boy. Yeah.
A really woke 14-year-old boy.
Yo, the kids are woke, alright?
The future is female t-shirt.
I saw someone was wearing one on the subway today. Anyway. So, I feel like I'm just going to jump right in, because I don't have any transition from the future is female, except to talk about Ms. Pac-Man, who's like, frankly, Ms. Pac-Man, does she predate Samus, or is she around the same time?
You know, I am not sure. Well, I would say probably around the same time.
Well, they're both that sort of first wave of video game women, aren't they? Ms. Pac-Man is like the original video game feminist. Because she can do everything the man can do, and she can do it in a cute freaking bow.
Yeah. She can eat however many dots she wants.
That's true. No one is going to... In fact, we're going to encourage her to eat more dots. Because, frankly, she deserves it. She should be well-fed. Not only should she eat dots, but she should eat as many ghosts as she can handle.
Yeah, and cherries.
Girl. You go, girl.
Bananas.
Treat yourself.
What are the fruits in Miss Pac-Man?
There's an order. There's cherries. I think there's bananas.
Are there bananas? Okay.
I think so. I think there's grapes.
Mm. It's all like dangly fruit.
Yeah, and the actually that's the scientific category for it. It's dangly.
Not that I don't think you really want your banana to be dangly, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not round.
What?
No. They're fruit that aren't like one round shape.
No, I think there's an apple.
Oh, is there really?
I don't know. I'm making this up. I did not research which fruit there are. I did not think that would come up. Perhaps that was unwise of me.
Probably.
I imagine...
How about this for research? Are the ghosts' names the same in Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man?
I believe so. Look, I don't think I've ever... Here's my confession, folks. I've played Ms. Pac-Man. I don't think I've ever played Pac-Man.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I don't think I've ever seen Pac-Man actually played.
I feel like Ms. Pac-Man has become more ubiquitous. Is that the right word? Ubiquitous?
Ubiquitous?
Ubiquitous.
Ms. Pac-Man is an icon.
Yeah.
Like, and anyone who doesn't think so, like, don't at me, you know?
Don't at me.
Because Ms. Pac-Man is a feminist icon for our time. She wears lipstick, too, right? That's the other distinction. She's got lipstick and she's got a bow.
I don't know if she wears lipstick.
We're gonna confirm this.
At least maybe on the logo, but not. It's not on the little icon that represents her in the game. You might be getting her...
It is on the game. She's got little red dots on her little pack.
I was thinking for a second that you were getting her mixed up with like the green M&M.
Oh my god! How dare you?
I know.
Not that like the green M&M is also a feminist icon. Like, you know, we can eat women too.
Yes, progress.
Cannibalism is equal opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm also going to try to confirm the fruit. Here we go. Here it is. And also you were wrong. It's cherry, strawberry, orange, the favorite fruit, frankly, pretzel, apple, pear, banana. So I was wrong. There are no grapes.
Yeah, you were the only one who was wrong.
Yeah, but you forgot about pretzel.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That was a drastic oversight on my part. How could I forget about, a good balanced diet involves pretzels as your fruit class and pizza as your vegetable class.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Ms. Pac-Man would endorse that.
We are now a health podcast. And this is our advice to you.
This is your recipe for Ms. Pac-Man's fruit salad. Pretzel sticks.
Apples, pears, oranges, cherries, pretzels, bananas.
Perfect. Did you know that one of the reasons they made Ms. Pac-Man is that the majority of Pac-Man players were women?
I feel like maybe you mentioned it before.
I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting that even back in the 80s, we had this game that was majority women. And I was just now reading an article about something that was about how violent video games, predominantly affect our young men. And I was like, how dare you? If you're going to make these claims about video games, at least tell me they can ruin women too.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that idiotic meeting.
I was literally just reading about it.
It's like he just announces it, and the ESB is like, I'm sorry, what? They hadn't even been invited yet when they announced it.
Well, he did suggest there should be some sort of rating system.
Oh,
for video games.
Gosh. It's a stupid argument, okay? There have been things that show correlation, but not necessarily causation, and the people in Canada get literally the exact same video games that we get here, And they're fine over in Canada. They're Canadian. They're doing fine. But anyway, Miss Pac-Man is not a particularly violent game unless you consider violence against ghosts.
Look, Miss Pac-Man has made me addicted to fruit. And pretzels. And, like, powdered donuts. Because they're, like, circular and white.
Oh, yeah. True.
So, don't you tell me that video games don't impact my psyche? Because I can't stop eating bananas.
Oh, man. That's very true. They do have a crippling effect on the fruit addiction among our youth.
Oh, man. Anyway, this is going to be another difficult week because Ms. Pac-Man, like Tetris and games of its ilk, it's pretty basic, right?
Yeah.
We haven't even... Is there anyone out there that doesn't know what Ms. Pac-Man is?
Somebody.
Emma, give us a summary of the game.
In Miss Pac-Man, you play as Miss Pac-Man, a yellow, circular woman who has a little bow and apparently has lipstick, which I didn't know. And in Miss Pac-Man, you're controlling Miss Pac-Man through a maze in her quest to eat as many dots as she possibly can, because she's a growing woman who has a good appetite. But in this quest, she is hindered by 4 ghosts named Linky, Pinky,
Inky, and Sue.
And they try to eat her. But when she eats fruit, she is imbued with magical powers that for a short period of time...
No, you're lying. That's not true. When she eats... I can't believe you don't know this. You were about to give a false description.
Fruit is extra points. Fruit is extra points. It's like a special dot that she eats that imbues her with magical powers that allow her to temporarily eat the ghosts. And you just try to get as many points as possible. But see, I was asking about the ghost names because I was wondering if Sue is like a boy in Pac-Man.
I don't know. Like a boy named Sue. Isn't that a thing?
That is a thing, isn't it? It's like a trope. It's like a trope name on TV tropes. Probably.
I was just looking at TV tropes today to research for our episode. I always do.
I haven't spent half my life on TV tropes. Never.
Oh no, they're different. They're different in Pac-Man.
What are their names in Pac-Man?
Well, they have nicknames in Pac-Man, but apparently the nicknames are Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. However,
Clyde.
Their real names are Shadow, Speedy, Bashful, and Pokey.
What? Why do they have real names and nicknames?
I don't know.
Is there a deeper mythology to Pac-Man that I'm not aware of?
Apparently so. Oh, apparently they have, like, personalities.
In how?
Like, in the way they behave. Like, one of them traces it, one of them try to get in front of your mouth, one of them he says it's random, but the code says it's not actually random.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But the reason we know about Miss Pac-Man and not Mr. Pac-Man, or at least the reason I know, is we used to go, and we still go, but I don't think the arcade machine really functions anymore. But we used to go to a place called Joe's Pizza, and they had an arcade machine that was Miss Pac-Man. So we would put 25 cents in sometimes and play a game, or sometimes while we were waiting for our parents to pay, we would just move the joystick around and pretend we were playing.
Yeah.
Because we did not have spare change.
It sort of felt like it worked, too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it really did.
But it would go through, like, the graphic of all the ghosts and be like, Blinky, Pinky, Inky, Sue, Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, I will always associate Ms. Pac-Man with, like, pizza and garlicky pasta and breadsticks.
Seems right.
Boiled potatoes on my salad. Pink lemonade.
Mm-hmm. In a pitcher.
In a pitcher, yes.
Let's just Joe's Pizza, just like whatever you order and drinks, they just give you a pitcher
and
for yourself.
Yes.
Not for the table, just for you. You get a whole pitcher.
It saves some time. They don't have to refill.
Well, if they give you free refills if you do finish it.
I know, but they don't have to do as much work refilling.
That's true.
I was just at dinner the other night. And the waiter was like way too on refilling my water. I hate that. I hate it when they're like, this is like not relevant to Pac-Man at all. But I hate that. So does Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man hates that. She can refill her own water. She's a strong woman.
Yeah. Without arms and legs. So she might have to, someone might have to refill.
She could do it with her mouth. That's how strong she is. It wouldn't even mess up her lipstick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's true talent.
Well, it never does, right? She eats and eats and eats, and her lipstick stays on.
See, what is this brand of lipstick that Miss Pac-Man uses, and where can I buy some?
Lady P, give us the deets.
Yeah. All mine comes off on my coffee in the morning.
PM me, Ms. PM. Get it? Private message.
Oh, yes. Wow. Abbreviations.
Thanks.
That should have been your opening joke.
I know, probably, but there's not like a good punchline to that. It's just like a good one-liner. You wouldn't understand humor.
Oh, okay. You're right. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
What do I know?
Anyway, something else that's always fascinated me about Pac-Man and like about a lot of old arcade games is like the kill screen.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are always, like, I feel like all of these old, like, we talked about this with Donkey Kong a little bit, I guess a few months ago now, right? Donkey Kong was a while ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure what episode it was. A couple episodes ago.
But these old arcade games, just because of the way they're coded, you can't play them forever, right? Because they're coded, it's in, like, 8, right? Or something. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to actually know the coding behind it. But basically, eventually, once you get to a certain level, the code, like, overflows into another portion of the code and completely messes up the level. So the Pac-Man just, like, he turns into this, like, bizarro world that, like, doesn't quite work and, like, you can't get past it. Which certainly makes that pursuit of a high score, I don't know, more interesting, less interesting. It's more about finesse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I always just find this stuff intriguing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it quite works. I think I'm thinking of Pac-Man. I'm not quite sure it works quite the same in Ms. Pac-Man. Because frankly, she could probably, like, eat through the glitchy code. That's how strong she is.
Yeah.
What a queen. Hashtag queen. Speaking of
queens.
My best saying ever.
That was pretty good.
Reigns, Her Majesty.
Yep. Is a mobile game from Devolver Digital?
Yep.
Devolver Digital. That came out in 2017. It is the sequel to 2015's Reigns. And in this one, you play as the queen rather than the king. Hence the Her Majesty part. But so I actually shelled out a whole $2.99 to get Reigns Her Majesty on my phone, showcasing my true dedication to this podcast.
Now that I've researched it, I think I might also shell out, because it seems like just the kind of mindless fun that I would enjoy.
It is fun. I finished it today on my ride home on the metro and after getting home. But essentially how it works is you are the queen, you marry the king, and then you're immediately introduced to this swiping mechanic, essentially. So you get a bunch of cards, and then you swipe them either right or left to make decisions about what you want to do with what's presented to you on that card. So it could be like, do you want to go to church, support the church, or do you want to rebuild this dam that all the things lost, or do you want to befriend this pirate, or do you want to eat this food? And based on those decisions, you have 4 categories, essentially, that you can't get either too high and you can't get too low. Because if one runs out or if one fills up all the way, then something happens and you die. Right? So you die, and then you immediately come back as the next queen and do it all over again. And it doesn't, like, restart you from the beginning. Like, things you've done as the first queen sort of carry over for reasons unknown. Wink. But it's really fun. It's, like, it's mindless a little bit, but you also sort of have to think about what you're doing. And sometimes weird stuff happens, and you're like, wait a second. There's, like, a certain point where something comes on the screen after a couple of deaths, and it glitches out your screen. And I really thought my phone was breaking. I was like, oh my god, this is the end. My phone is gone. But it's just the effect that this card has on your phone. So there's a bunch of interesting little surprises like that.
Yeah, I read in the original
Plus you
game.
Be super sassy.
I read in the original game, the king, like, you can, like, become hard of hearing. And so then, like, all of the instructions get, like, a little garbled.
That's funny.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I have a question for you, Emma. How many years away do you think we are from U.S. government by, like, Tinder-like system? 20?
Swipe right
40?
on this candidate. I can imagine voting being turned into a system like that.
No, I'm not saying voting. I mean, like, literally, the president running the country is just doing it through, like, a Tinder app.
See, pretty far away, because then someone would have to do some seriously advanced programming to do that.
Fair enough. I also wanted to get your thoughts on the gameplay and storytelling of this, because the developer has said that, like, they kind of deliberately wanted you to feel like this swiping mechanic, like, is frustrating, right? Because it doesn't allow you any nuance. And since you've now actually played some of the game, I was wondering how that has impacted you as our sort of resident expert in this field.
I don't know if I felt frustrated by it. Once I started noticing that, I like the bars at the top, because I didn't notice it at the beginning, it became sort of like a transactional affair. As like, it shows you what it'll have impact on when you move it to one side or the other, but it doesn't tell you which way it'll go. So you have to sort of guess, like, will this upset the church? Will this do good things for my military? Will the people like me for this? And at the beginning, a lot of the times, the people would love me too much and would storm my throne room and trample me trying to kiss my ring. And that's how I would die. Because I would make them too happy. And also, as you go on, you get access to items that sometimes when a death prompt comes up, if you use an item, you can get out of it once. So, like, the other thing that happened to me a lot was the church would burn me.
Great.
Because I'd annoy them too much. But you get this special perfume at some point, and if you use it on the priest when he comes to say, like, I can't allow a heathen queen like you, he'll be like, oh, wait, no, you're charming now. Okay, never mind.
Wow, that is how men work, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you can keep going. Or sometimes you get a gun later on. At first, it's just like a play dueling pistol. And sometimes the king will be like, you've made us too strong or something. I must protect you from all harm. But if you like, you can distract him with the dueling pistol and put it off for a second.
What?
He'll be like, oh, that's so cute, you with your little dueling pistol. And then eventually you can upgrade it, and then you can just murder him.
Oh my god.
Spoiler alert.
Wow. How is this game impacting Emma? She's learned she can be a political candidate and also
Sometimes he dies on his own, also, depending on, like, what you encourage him or discourage him to do. Like, sometimes he'll be like, I should fight as a champion. And you'd be like, yeah, honey, go do that. And then he'll die because, like, what was he going to do?
That's pretty true. I feel like sometimes if I didn't encourage Clickbait Boyfriend to, like, do things that were good for him, he might just die. I'm just kidding. He's very self-sufficient.
Yeah. It did get, I mean, I think the swiping was sort of addictive for me. So even though you get, like, objectives that you can complete, like you meet new characters or you do a certain thing, and eventually I got sort of near the end of the main objective, although I looked it up, but I didn't finish it in its entirety because I didn't get all the items. But by the end, there was a lot of like repeating decisions, which I thought was unfortunate, because they'd been so funny to look at.
They claim they have like 700 different cards, at least in the original.
I mean, you get more cards as you complete objectives, also, because you meet a new character and then they can interact with you from then onward.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I didn't find it frustrating. I mean, I guess I felt like there wasn't enough, like, at stake to find the lack of nuance frustrating.
I gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Because you die, but then you come back and you do it again. And it's sort of fun to see. I got up to 35 years before I died. Usually my average was more like 10.
You were rating as, like, child queens?
No, like 10 years on the throne.
Oh, I see. I gotcha. Yeah. Man, 35 then. That's impressive.
Yeah.
This is making me wonder, can we consider, like, Tinder just, like, a massively multiplayer gaming app?
Kind of. It's at least a gamification of dating.
Sure, but, like, can we just consider it, like, it's like Pokemon Go, right? It's like an augmented reality thing. You're, like, playing multiplayer. You're, like, trying to, like, find your, like, multiplayer partner, right? You have to do, like, some real-world stuff to do it.
Yeah. I think you could probably make a good argument for that. Probably a good argument against it also, but you'd have to actually do some
way to shoot me down. You're not allowed to say that kind of nuance. You just have to swipe right that it's a gaming app, or swipe left that it's not. No nuance.
Or pull the gun out and duel it.
Oh, what a cute pistol. No, I'm, like, thinking about getting this game. It seems to me it's like I really enjoy Civilization, right? I feel like I've made that pretty clear on the podcast. And this seems like playing Civilization, but with none of the commitment. Which is great. That's exactly what I'm looking for at this point in my life. A game that will not eat 5 hours of my life, or if it does, it'll at least feel like I could put it down at any time.
Yeah.
Like I could.
Yeah, I did really like it. I didn't put it down at any time. So, there's that, to put that out there. The one thing that did bother me just a little bit, and I sort of understood why it happened. There was, at one time I was playing it and the king was dead, but cards were still coming up that referred to the king. Which I was like, he's dead. He died in that little unfortunate accident.
Dark.
I don't know. I don't think even in this one I was the one that killed him. He just decided to go, like, fight in the war and died. So.
Dumb king.
But yeah. So that was a little weird. But other than that, everything was pretty consistent except for the repeating cards.
Well, I'll have to lay down my $3 investment and see if I like the game.
Yeah. Compare perspectives. We could do a comparative blog.
Wow. That would be too much to handle. Crazy.
Hashtag crazy.
So, I think we need to start thinking about a mashup game right now because it's going to be really hard. Because both of these games have very simple mechanics and are about strong women. And I don't quite know how they mash up without just like one completely absorbing the other.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts?
Maybe you take the Miss Pac-Man style gameplay, only you set a queen up as the Miss Pac-Man, and you have to survive years of rule by chewing up the dots. But every time you run into a ghost, you have to be forced to make a decision that affects what's happening. And each of the ghosts represents one of the power influences.
Okay.
So, like, one is the church, one is the people, one is war, and one is your finances. So every time you run into one, you make a decision that either moves it positively or moves it negatively. Or maybe it just moves it negatively. So you have to try to avoid them. Or at least avoid running into the same one over and over again. And maybe it increases a little bit over time also.
Okay, I kind of like that, but I want to make some twists.
Sure.
So I like the idea of these ghosts as representing like choices you have to make, right? And maybe the fruit does too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have to add some complexities to it. So one, I want to let Pac-Man loose. You got Pac-Man, who's like your king, and like he's going around eating stuff too, and you kind of have to like keep him under control. Right? You don't want, like, Pac-Man is going to try to make decisions without you, and you cannot let that happen, Ms. Pac-Man. You gotta, like, keep the king in his rightful place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know quite how that would work. You could do it as, like, a 2-player game, I guess. I love local multiplayer, right? You could do it as, like, a 2-player game where, like, you and Pac-Man are kind of, like, vying for control, like, kind of a battle of the sexes sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanna change the ghost mechanic. So instead of the ghosts like necessarily being a bad thing, so every time you eat the ghost, like you're presented with a choice, and the choice changes the landscape of your like pack world. So like you make a choice, and it like, you know, maybe there's suddenly the dots are all back, and you have to eat them all again before you can go to the next one, or you move at half speed. Or it's like flashing in and out or something. The choices impact your gameplay. What do you think about that?
Couple questions.
Bring it on.
Okay, so one, what would be your fail state? How would you lose? Two, if the ghosts just present you with a choice, why are you avoiding them? And three, how exactly would the reigning Pac-Man in mechanic work?
I'm glad you asked these questions. And I can address them. Believe me. Alright, first one was like, what is your fail state, right?
Yeah.
Okay, your fail state is, there might be multiple. I'm still sort of toying with which is best. So maybe you make choices that eventually make your world like impossible to navigate. I'm not sure what the dots represent in this case. Maybe like gold coins, or like, I don't know, just like other good kingdom stuff. And so the reason you're avoiding the ghosts is because you only want to talk to them when you have like good stuff, like the flashing stuff to tell them. I haven't quite worked out this mechanic. But like you can't talk to the people all the time, right? Because if you talk to people all the time, like they're gonna, start demanding stuff and you're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
So you only want to talk to them sometimes. Like, maybe running into the ghosts when you're not flashing isn't, like, a kill thing. It's just, like, they present you with a choice that is more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
That is more likely to make things, like, hard. As opposed to if you go with a flashing thing, which maybe represents an advisor. Or, like, a giveaway. A sweepstakes.
Sweepstakes.
Or, like, a We Love the Queen Day. Like, a parade. Like, if you go after you eat one of the flashing things... the people are more favorably disposed towards you, or, like, the effects are more likely to be positive.
Interesting.
But because I don't think I want the fail state to be, like, the ghosts eat you.
Mm-hmm.
At least not most of the time. Maybe some of the time. But I want the fail state.
Maybe one of the things is you, like, piss off one of the ghosts.
Yeah.
In a choice, and that's a way you can... fail also. It'll start chasing you.
Yeah, I like that, actually. Yeah. That the ghosts are fine until you piss them off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that. And then you asked, what was your second question?
How does the raining Pac-Man in mechanic work?
That was your third question. There's another question.
You already answered the other question. It was, why are you running away from the ghosts?
Oh, right, because we hate our subjects, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And the raining Pac-Man in. So I think you have to be able to eat Pac-Man, too.
Oh, that's dark.
Well, that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to, like, eat Pac-Man so that you can reign alone forever.
Oh, wow.
Like a praying mantis devouring its mate.
Yeah, sell that to the kids.
Look, the kids, it's less violent. It's less violent.
Be like a praying mantis, children. Rip up your partner.
The future is female,
after you get
not
what
male.
You want from him.
But yeah, there's got to be some kind of mechanic. I mean, you're not literally eating your people when you run into them either, right? Like,
yeah.
But like eventually it's like, I don't know, maybe you do eat him. Maybe that's like the dark twist at the end of the game, that the best ending is like you literally feast on Pac-Man.
Oh my gosh.
No, just kidding. Yeah, no, you have to, with Pac-Man, I got it. So you know how in the average Miss Pac-Man level there are like 4 of the flashy ones, right?
Yes.
I think. That's how I remember it anyway. So each level you have to make a choice because there are 4 ghosts and there is also Pac-Man. And so you can use it to flash and like run into them to have like a favorable outcome. But on one of them you won't be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you eat the flashing ones, in this case you can only get 1 ghost. I know in the game you like try to get them all. But when you eat the flashy one, you can only encounter 1 of them. And so that leaves you with like a problem because you can't do all of them. So you have to decide which one to neglect. And of course that would be bad, right? Or maybe it would be good. Sometimes it would be good. Sometimes you would avoid
So you
something.
have to talk to Pac-Man too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how the fruit comes in now. I'm trying to think of how the fruit could come in.
I don't know. Maybe you just ditch the fruit.
No, you can't ditch the fruit. The pretzel.
Why?
We're a lifestyle podcast now, Emma. You can't ditch the fruit.
Maybe it's like just a random thing.
Yeah, it's a
like
random
a little
event.
Secret.
Yeah.
No, it's a secret. There's a pretzel hidden in the wings. Just as a reference.
No. If you eat the fruit, you trigger a one-time only event. A special event happens in your kingdom. Could be good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a risk. It's like, do you risk eating the fruit and getting a really good thing? Or it could be like, it's a rotten fruit. Or stale pretzel.
Interesting.
You don't like it.
Very interesting. I just think we should drop the fruit.
No.
I think it's stronger without it.
Oh my god. You can't do
Get
this.
rid of the unnecessary elements and get down to the core fundamentals of our gameplay.
The fruit is a core fundamental. Okay, fine. Just the pretzel.
Okay, just a random pretzel turns up from time to time.
Yeah. It's a rare special event.
Okay.
It's a DLC.
You go over it and it's like, pay $6.99 to unlock this pretzel special event.
Yes. People would do it.
No.
I'd be like, swipe right to do it.
Some people would do it, and some people would shut the game off, delete it from their phone, and write us a 1-star review.
We'll delete the reviews.
You can't delete the reviews.
Why not?
That's not how it works.
I'll report the review as fraudulent. No, I don't mean... I do like the idea of you eat it, and it's like... It prompts you to buy it. I like that it's so manipulative. What I was trying to say is that it'd be a DLC pack to add the fruit to the game.
Oh, I see.
But I like it much better when it's like that horrible. When it's like, pay $2.99 for the banana event.
I'm a natural at gotcha schemes, apparently.
Apparently. I could just imagine it like popping up.
It's just like in the middle of your gameplay too, and there's no way to exit out of it.
What if the people in the game demanded real money? The game is just all like one microtransaction hell.
I'm sorry, do you want to win? You must pay $3.99 right now. Get out your credit card.
We'll make it a free app too. It'll be free and people will think they're all good. No, It'll be 99 cents. We'll have their credit card on file.
Oh my god. That's we've become horrible people.
Nah. I'm not making the game. I'm selling the game to someone else.
Talk about the scourge of the video game industry. It's not violent video games. It's cheap monetizing schemes like this one.
Look, women can be part of cheap monetizing schemes the same way that men can.
Yeah!
Equality!
Empowerment!
We can be pawns in the capitalist machine just as effectively.
Heck yeah, baby.
Woo!
Corruption doesn't run on chromosomes.
Oh my god. Alright.
You can put that on your campaign. Anyone who wants to run for office.
Corruption does not run on chromosomes.
Yeah.
Dang.
Powerful. I think that's a great election slogan.
Moving. Woke.
Just being honest. Putting it out
Seriously.
there. It's like, yeah, I'm corrupt, but hey. I
am just as corrupt as a man.
Yeah.
The men don't have a monopoly on corruption.
Exactly. You know what we do have a monopoly on?
What?
Some sort of product, because we're pretty corrupt.
It doesn't just have to be Mr. Monopoly. It's Mrs. Monopoly, too. Or Ms.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Miss.
Or Miss. Or MX.
Miss Monopoly. What is that? Is there a gender neutral Mr. Ms.?
I don't know.
Let us know. I'm curious.
I think you're just like...
I know there's a whole bunch of gender neutral pronouns, but I don't know if there's one that's for addressing someone like that.
Well, we should really just drop those anyway, right? Because, like...
Yes. But then what do you call your teacher?
Teacher, last name.
No! Don't call them teacher last name.
Why not?
Because that sounds awful. I don't know.
I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that in my tutoring class next week.
I guess you could call them all professor.
Yeah.
Even if they're not in college, you could go with that. But
that's confusing, though. We're going to go with teacher. I'm going to try that in my tutoring class next week. I'm going to be like, we're not doing Ms. Paquette anymore. We're actually doing teacher Paquette. We'll see how that goes. It's going to go great. You want to hear something one of my tutoring students said to me today?
What?
We were talking about video games. Oh, because one of the passages that she read today was about like games and like it was about neuroplasticity and like whether our brains can change that fast. And one of them was about like, of course they can't, like, you know, we don't do, even though people think that about games, like they can't. Right?
Yeah.
And I was, because of course I'm me, I was like, you know, like, oh, like people always are talking about this in the bad way, but no one's ever talking about it in the good way. And she was like, yeah, like Animal Crossing. And I was like, yeah, like, so wholesome, like, building a village. And she's like, I don't know, I haven't played it. Is it about, like, jaywalking? And I was like, I thought to myself, that's funnier than any joke I've ever told on this podcast.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's an amazing joke. And this girl should probably stop studying for her SATs and just go be a comedian somewhere.
I mean, she should stop because she has already taken the test at this point.
That's true. Just some studying just in case. Just in case they're like, surprise! Part 5.
Yeah. So yeah, that was funnier than any joke I've ever told. Glad I got an opportunity to share it here and not credit the author. So, you're welcome. Anyway, that's another example, right, of how corruption doesn't need chromosome.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Women can plagiarize just as much as men.
Whoa!
Yeah!
On that empowering note, this has been another episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm Madelyn. I'm Teacher Paquette.
I'm Teacher Paquette. Uh-oh.
You're not a teacher.
I'm Worker Paquette.
No. That crosses the line.
I'm Employee Paquette.
Nice.
I guess Intern Paquette. I'm Intern Paquette.
That's worse. That's so much worse. Alright, Emma, you got the hats ready? We gotta pick our next games.
I do.
Hopefully this time we can pick ones that have a little bit more separation in their themes.
Okay, tell me when.
When?
Valkyria Chronicles. Valkyria.
This bodes
Valkyria? Well. I'm sorry.
Part of our research will be learning how to pronounce the game.
Valkyria Chronicles.
Nice.
Is our old game.
Pick a new one. When?
Our new game.
When?
My hand isn't even in the hat yet.
Hurry up.
Okay. Tell me when.
When?
Overwatch.
Oh, wow.
Jesus, finally.
Man, we are going to get some Instagram likes.
Overwatch has been in our hat since we started this podcast.
Somebody commented on on one of our Player Unknown Battlegrounds ones the other day, like, haha, nice. It was like weeks ago. It was very weird. If that's you, I'm sorry. I don't mean it was weird. Like, I was pleased to get a comment, but I was wondering how you found that post.
Probably just by looking at hashtag Pubka.
Right, but this post is like a month old, Emma.
Yeah, but just like scrolling through it.
People use Instagram very differently than I do. I just follow a lot of Japanese dogs.
Well, that's the best way to use Instagram. Follow a lot of Japanese dogs and our Instagram, which you can find at Talk This Podcast, along with also our Twitter and Facebook are also at Talk This Podcast. You can also follow our YouTube channel, which is Talk This Sisters, and there will soon be a new video for the Play This series, which I do, which is about gameplay as storytelling. We'll be talking about Chapter 4 of Danganronpa V3, and that will be not next Thursday, but the Thursday after, because I decided that it's unfair that the first Thursday was the first, so I'm doing it on the fourth Thursday instead of the third Thursday.
Wow, empowerment.
It'll be in 2 weeks. So look forward to that. I have some hashtag jokes, hashtag memes ready to go, along with some serious analysis.
Hashtag serious analysis.
Hashtag serious analysis. Make sure, if you haven't subscribed already, you can subscribe to us on Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, wherever you find podcasts.
Can you subscribe on Spotify?
What?
Can you subscribe on Spotify?
I don't know. Maybe.
Wow, you just said you could.
Just follow. You could probably follow us on Spotify at least.
That's true.
Yeah. So look for us on Spotify. And also on our YouTube channel, if you want to hear little snippets about our older episodes, we've started putting Flashback Fridays up on our YouTube channel in addition to our Facebook page. So you can hear the highlights from some of our older episodes.
Yeah, if you don't have time to listen through the entire back catalog, you can catch the roughly 5-minute highlights of each of our episodes.
Yep. And as well, you should share us with all of your friends if you even remotely enjoyed this episode. Leave us a review and a rating on any platform of your choice, and check out our website, talkthispodcast.com, where we have lots of blogs, including blogs for the episodes if you want to know a little bit more about the games that we talked about, in case we didn't go into quite enough detail. And you can also find all our episode links on those blog posts, in addition to things like Clickbait Boyfriend, where Madelyn's boyfriend plays through the Kingdom Hearts series, and 10 Thoughts in 10 Hours stuff that I write sometimes when I'm playing games.
Maybe we'll write a head-to-head Reigns one this week.
Yeah.
That could be fun. We've never really
like
co-written a blog post. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Yeah. I've always wondered how people... there's some, like blog posts where, they have a dialogue with each other. Have you ever read one
Yeah, I have.
I always wonder how they write those.
Yeah, right. Do they, record themselves? Do they, I
or
bet
do
you
they
they,
send emails to each other?
Well, I imagine what they do is they instant message. That's how I imagine it.
Yeah. But anyway, you could possibly look forward to that. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. So I guess I'll send us off.
Yeah.
Have an equally corrupt, equally empowered day, regardless of your gender identity.